Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is one that I'm really excited to film for you guys because today we are going to be filming a farewell video to Makeup Geek Cosmetics. So if you didn't hear, in April of 2022, Marlena Stell announced that she was discontinuing her beauty brand Makeup Geek Cosmetics because of COVID, and it's so sad to see another brand go. Sadly, this is the third brand that we've done videos like this for. We've done Becca Cosmetics, Marc Jacobs Beauty, and now we're doing Makeup Geek Cosmetics as well. So it's so sad to see another brand leave our stores. I think this one hits hard because I feel like Makeup Geek Cosmetics was the first influencer slash YouTuber based brand that ever blew up and became super successful, and I feel like it opened doors for so many other collaborators to start doing collaborations and creating their own brands as well. So it was such a pivotal brand and I'm so sad to see it go. But I thought today what we would do in celebration of the brand is I collected everything that I picked up from Makeup Geek Cosmetics. I've laid it all out here and I thought we'd do a full face one brand tutorial. I've got some brushes, some eyeshadow palettes, some single shadows, some pigments, a liner, some highlights and some blushes. So if you're curious to see what we come up with, then just continue watching. So starting off with primer, I'm going to take my little mini sample of the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. I can't get over how cute this thing is. I'm about halfway finished. So I'm going to take about 2 pumps onto the tip of my fingers, massage that between my fingertips, and apply that straight to my skin. And then for foundation, I wanted to use this one right here. This is the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Medium to Full Coverage Foundation, and to match my tan, I'm going to mix 2 different shades. The shades that I'm mixing are 118 Light Medium and 119 Light Medium as well. And then for brushes, I actually picked up 15 of her original face and eye brushes. So you can see there's quite an assortment of shapes here. So here's a close-up of what the brushes look like. So you can see they've got a gunmetal handle, a chrome ferrule, and then the hairs on this one are duo fiber. So the first one here is the Makeup Geek Face Buffer Brush, so I'll use this one for foundation. So I'm going to start by shaking up the bottles. And then I'm going to take a pump of each shade. That color looks pretty much perfect. So I'm going to take that brush and start buffing that all over my skin. So next I want to do a little bit of cream contouring before I apply my concealer. So I'm taking my MCOBEAUTY Instant Contour Beauty Wand in the shade Light Medium. So I'm going to take off the cap and squeeze a little bit of product out. Lock it back up again, and I'm going to start applying my contour first to my cheek and then the perimeters of my face. And then to blend it out, I'm taking this brush here, which is the Makeup Geek Chiseled Cheek Brush, and I'm going to start buffing that out. And then for concealer, I haven't used this one in a little while. This is the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Concealer in the shade 16 Medium Tan. So I'm going to start taking it underneath the eyes, center of the forehead, down the bridge of the nose, and corners of the mouth. And then to blend that out, I'm taking this brush here, which is the Angled Stippling Brush. And I'm going to start patting that concealer out. Looking at the skin, I want to make it a little bit glowier, so I'm taking my MCOBEAUTY Highlight and Glow Beauty Wand in the shade Champagne Glow. So once again, I'm going to open it up, unlock it, and squeeze out a little bit more product. And then seal it back up again. And I'm going to start applying that to the top of my cheekbones. and around the brow. I'm also going to take some down the bridge of my nose and my cupid's bow. And then to blend that out, I'm taking this brush here, which is the cheek highlighter brush. And I'm going to start patting that out. So next, moving on to powder, I'm going to start brightening my under eyes and setting them using the MCOBEAUTY Brighten and Correct Banana Powder. And then to start setting my under eyes, I'm taking the angled contour brush. So I'm going to first tap the brush into the powder and then start patting the powder underneath my eyes. I'm also going to start brightening the center of the face as well. And then to set the rest of the face, I'm taking this powder right here, which is the MCOBEAUTY Invisible Matte Long Lasting Pressed Powder in the shade 01 Translucent. And then to set the rest of the face, I'm taking this brush here, which is the Foundation Stippling Brush. And I'm tapping that brush straight into the powder and setting the rest of my face. And then finally moving back into some Makeup Geek products, I actually have quite a few of the Makeup Geek single blushes, so I think let's go right ahead and swatch them together. So here is the first shade called First Love. Here is the second shade called Honeymoon. Here is the third shade called Spellbound. Here is the fourth shade on my pinky called Head Over Heels. The fifth one is this shade here called Smitten. The sixth shade is this one here called Romance. The seventh shade is this one here called Bliss. The eighth shade here, which is on my pinky, is super pretty and bright. This one here is called Summer Fling. The ninth shade here is called Infatuation. The 10th shade is such a pretty pink. This one here is called Hanky Panky. The 11th shade on my ring finger is this one here called Love Affair. The 12th shade here on my pinky is called Rendezvous. And then the 13th shade here, which didn't fit in the palette, is this one here called Secret Admirer. So I'm looking at all the colors on my palm and they are so beautiful. There's so many pretty colors. I feel like you can't even see this one right here. So let's go right ahead and use that shade on the cheek so you can see it better. That one there was called Bliss. So to apply the blush, I'm taking this brush here, which is called the Rounded Blush Brush. Tapping into the shade Bliss. And applying that straight to my cheeks. So there is what that blush shade looks like. I think I want to amp it up with a little bit of this shade here, which was called Summer Fling. And I'm going to start layering that on top. Yeah, that blush combo is super pretty. So as I mentioned, Makeup Geek Cosmetics ended up doing a few collaborations with other influencers. So I've got a couple of them to show you today. So the first one that I picked up is this one here, and this is the Makeup Geek and Kathleen Light's highlighter palette. As you can see, here is what the outer slip looks like. And then on the other side, you can see it's got some writing, so I'll read it out to you. It says, "I'm so happy and in love with this highlighter palette. I wanted to create 3 wearable shades that suit every single skin tone in one place. A shade for fair skin, medium skin, and for deeper skin tones. So no matter who you are, you can rock these highlights and be glowy and beautiful. You can even mix them to create your own custom shade. Hope you love it as much as I do. XOXO Kathleen Light." So that's what the outer slip looks like. And then when you take off the slip, here is what the actual palette looks like. So you can see it's got this cool design on the outside. The back of the palette looks like this. And then on the inside, here are what the 3 shades look like. So from lightest to darkest, you've got Sunlight, Starlight, and Nightlight. So I'm taking that same stippling brush that I used for my creams, and I'm tapping into the lightest shade here called Sunlight. And I'm going to start applying that to the top of my cheekbones. That is such a pretty glowy highlight, and it's not glittery at all. So I've zoomed you guys in so we can start on the eyes, but starting off with my NARS eyeshadow primer, this is literally completely out now, so I'm scraping the very bottom of it. And then for eyeshadow, we have so many different options. I've got 2 pre-made palettes and then a bunch of palettes that I filled with single shadows. So I'll start by showing you the insides of the palettes. So starting off with the pre-made palettes. The first one is the Makeup Geek Vegas Collection eyeshadow palette. So here is what the outside of the palette looks like. And then here is what the inside of the palette looks like. So you can see it comes with a large mirror and 6 different shadows. Here is the second palette. This one here was a collaboration with Manny MUA. So here is the front. And then here is the back of the palette. So you can see it's got his picture and some writing. So I'll read it out to you. It says, "This palette can be worn by anyone and everyone regardless of age or race. I wanted to make sure of that. I worked so hard on this palette and I couldn't be happier with the results. Manny MUA." So that's really cool. And then here is the outside of the palette. And then on the inside of the palette you can see once again it comes with a large mirror and 9 different shadows. And then moving on to my single shadows, you can see I've got 3 almost full palettes worth of single shadows. Here is my light palette. So I'll go right ahead and list the shadows individually down below in the description bar in case you're curious. So go right ahead and pause if you want to name them off. Here is my medium palette. So you can see it's got some medium tones, some purple tones, and some warmer tones. And then here is my cooler tone palette, so you can see it's got some blues, some greens, and some greys. So I'm first taking this brush here, which is the soft dome brush. And I'm grabbing the first palette, which is the Vegas Lights Collection palette, and I'm tapping into the bottom middle shade called Desert Sands. And I'm going to start applying that to my outer half of my lid and my crease. Next I'm taking this brush here, which is the pointed crease brush, and my Manny MUA Makeup Geek palette, and I'm taking the top shade in the center, which is called Beaches and Cream, and I'm going to start blending out my crease. Next I'm taking this brush here, which is the Defined Crease brush. And I'm going back into the same palette and I'm taking this shade here called Frappe. And I'm going to start darkening my outer corners. And my inner corners too. Next I'm taking that same Defined Crease brush into this shade here called Brown Sugar. And I'm darkening up those same areas. So next grabbing this brush here, which is the Outer V brush. And I'm grabbing my Vegas Lights Collection eyeshadow palette again, and I'm tapping that brush into this shade here called Bada Bing. And I'm going to really start darkening the outer half of my lash line. And I'm going to start dragging that up into a wing. I went right ahead and I dusted off my pointed crease brush, and I want to tap into this shade here for the lid called Magic Act. And I'm patting that all over the center of my lid. Wow, oh my gosh, that is such a pigmented shade. So to make the gold a little bit more interesting, I'm taking my cooler tone palette with the same brush that I dusted off, and I'm tapping into this shade here called Jester. And I'm going to layer that over the gold shade. Yeah, I think that's super cool. So moving on to the lower lash line, I'm grabbing my Makeup Geek pencil brush and my Manny MUA palette, and I'm tapping into the dark brown shade in the bottom, which is called Aphrodite. And I'm going to really start smoking out my lower lash line. And I'm also going to make sure to connect it to that smoky wing. So next, taking this brush here, which is called the small crease brush, I'm tapping into this shadow here, which is called Creme Brulee, and I'm going to start smoking out the lower lash line. So next I'm grabbing this brush here, which is the dual-ended brow brush, and I'm tapping into this pitch black shade called Corrupt. And I'm going to start really intensifying the smoky wing. So to really intensify that wing, I'm taking my Makeup Geek Immortal Gel Liner. So here is what it looks like. I just mixed in a mix in medium just to make it a little bit more hydrated. So I'm taking that same brush and I'm taking a little bit of the gel liner. And I'm going to start really lining my upper lash line and creating a very small wing. So I want to try something that I don't normally do, so I'm starting off with the bent liner brush. And I'm tapping into the black shadow, which was called Corrupt. And I'm going to try using the angle of this brush to help me do a little tiny inner corner wing. So I'm super happy with how the eyes are looking, so I'm going to go add some mascara, some lashes, and we'll come right back. Okay, so to save us some time, I went right ahead and I added some mascara and did my lashes. So the mascara combo is the Marc Jacobs Velvet Primer Epic Lash Primer and the Velvet Noir Major Volume Mascara. And then my lashes are the Gemma Isabella Cosmetics Wifey lashes that have been discontinued. So before I move on to lips, I've got a couple more Makeup Geek products that I want to show you guys. So they look like this. They're actually called the Makeup Geek pigments, so I've got quite a few of these, so I'll show you what they look like. So I've got 16 shades of these in total, so I'll show you them 2 at a time. So you've got New Year's Eve and Afterglow, Sweet Dreams and Birthday Wish, Poker Face and Liquid Gold, Vegas Lights and Nightlife, Blitz and Enchanted, Bewitched and Utopia, Insomnia and Kryptonite, and then the last 2 we have are Prince Charming and Paparazzi. So I can try one of them. I think I'm going to take this one right here in the shade Poker Face. And then to apply it, you can see there's a little hole in the center, so I'm going to take the same brush that I used earlier, the Outer V brush, and tap into the product. I'm going to spray it with a little bit of my Urban Decay All Nighter. And I'm going to pat it all over my lid. Yeah, that's so cool. So moving on to lips, I'm going to start by lining my lips with the Vive Modern Lip Definer in the shade Bark. I'm also slightly filling in the outer corners. And then to fill it in, I'm grabbing my MAC Retro Matte Liquid Lip Color in the shade Lookout. And I'm applying that straight onto my lips. And then to finish it off, I'm locking everything in place using my Urban Decay and Mecca All Nighter Setting Spray in the scent Summer Solstice. And I'm going to start setting my face. So yeah guys, this is my finished farewell look to Makeup Geek Cosmetics. I've got to say I am so happy with the finished result. I think it is so glam but so grungy and a little bit edgy. I cannot believe another brand has officially been discontinued and you can no longer purchase this brand anymore. I hope that we won't have to do too many of them because sadly I do have one more planned for Bite Beauty, who announced this year that they are discontinuing their brand as well. I bought a full face and I planned to haul it, and then sadly they announced it, so that shouldn't be too long away. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you feel re-inspired. If you did enjoy it, then you guys know what to do. Please feel free to leave me a like, comment and leave any requests that you have down below in the comment bar. Subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell and drag it all the way down to all to become a part of this family and be notified of all my future videos. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys. YouTube, because Makeup Geek Cosmetics was Makeup Geek Cosmetics was the first, and I'm not sure. Are my wings really uneven today? I feel like they are. Hold on. And I think I'm gonna tap. Oh no, I don't need. I need to know the name. Jester. Okay. Is that better or worse? Oh my gosh, why does this make me nervous? It's just liner. So my lashes and so my mascara. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14, 16. So we've got New Year's Eve and Afterglow. MAC Retro Matte Liquid